Alright guys, that's Kremp again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Big drama going down, especially with more rumours about what's going to happen with Black Ops 7, Scrappy, ZooMaa, even Dashy getting into a big debate around gentlemen's agreement, what happens next for the upcoming game, whether specialist would be a good idea or not, and all sorts of other drama with regard to Rostermania as well. Very much interested to your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. Thought this is pretty fire actually. Looking at, well, this famous picture of Karma, and then fast forward a few years. Maybe there are some similarities here in play. We know that Mercules has been cooking in these OpTic Legacy matches. Today is OpTic Day on the Thursday. Tomorrow is going to be the Black Ops 3 series as well. They also played the Halo 3 one last night. It was Legend, Formal, Renegade and Bounds versus Team Shotzzy, Huke, Shotzzy, Maniac and APG. Formal's team ended up taking the victory there. You could argue the team was kind of overpowered, but I guess it was reasonably competitive, I suppose. Huke and Shotzzy did their best, but it was not good enough in the end. Shotzzy's team selection over the last few days has maybe been somewhat questionable, but just quickly on Legends, because we know that he made it clear that he's looking to come over to Call of Duty. I'm pretty sure that is going to be happening. The question is where. There was even a talk for a little bit of time whether FaZe would even think about it, in terms of, okay, maybe we can't get the most talented players ever anymore because they've left, or they're stuck on OpTic, or they're stuck on Thieves, then do we just sign a player with potentially huge Shotzzy level upside or HyDra level upside in Legends, but with absolutely no competitive Call of Duty experience? It would be a major risk. Maybe a risk that could pay off, but you'd obviously, in the same way that when Shotzzy came into the league in MW19, have to give him a bit of time. And also Shotzzy was playing a fair bit of Black Ops 4 in the lead up to the 2020 season, played a lot of Chow, stuff like this. Not to say that that couldn't be the case for Legend, but I guess FaZe, if the team of 04, Drazah and Abuzah with Simp is true, just felt like it was too much risk to make a move like this, and understandably so. If I'm another organisation though further down, I'm very much trying to consider this as an option, but Legend may think, well, if I go to challenges, grind up a bit, look really good, then maybe a top team gives me a shot at some point. Because I'd be surprised if teams further down the pecking order wouldn't at least be in his DMs talking about it, because it's just a very exciting prospect, taking some risk with some big upsides. It's kind of understandable maybe why some of the top Call of Duty teams less willing to do that. It was actually 8 years ago yesterday that OpTic won their first Call of Duty World Championship, and it was their only one for a very long time until they finally made a Grand Finals again in 2024, won it, made a Grand Finals again in 2025, won that as well. Just quickly on FaZe, this is most series wins for each franchise. The Simp, aBeZy and Cellium have won 209 series for FaZe. Now, Simp is going to take over command of that record when the new season begins. CleanX has won 170 series with ults, and that's of course the most on that organisation. Dashy's won 150 series with OpTic. Thieves is actually Envoy over his couple of stints there. Rocker is Attach, interestingly enough. Abuzah now holds the crown at Surge. Metals at Heretics. Gwinn at Ravens, he overtook 0 this season. Nero at Boston, we'll talk about Nero again in a second. Assault at LAG. Sib with Cloud9. And then Falcons, of course, only had 4 series wins this season. That's tied and, well, likely to be extended by only a couple of players you would think on that team. Speaking of FaZe, this was a remarkable stat that Nicolina put out, and I was like, wow, this almost sounds so wild that it can't be true, but this does seem to be true. FaZe's record at the World Championship since they won in Cold War. Now, effectively what this is looking at is teams that were positive in the regular season, they always lose to at champs. It's actually kind of crazy and sums up quite a lot about how FaZe start the year very strongly and over the last few years have just regressed towards the end of the year, and understandable why they've blown up the trio maybe, because in Vanguard, they beat New York and Surge twice. Those teams were pretty much dead even on the season, but when they played Thieves, a team that was positive on the season, they lost. Now, MW2, they beat Surge, negative record, but they lost to Toronto, they lost to New York, teams with positive records. MW3, the 2 teams they played with positive records on the season they lost to. Black Ops 6, when they played to OpTic, they lost to them, they had a positive record just. They beat Ravens who had a slight negative record, and then lost to Miami who were even. So just sums up a bit of why FaZe have struggled towards the end of the season. I did want to say this on Nero because he's continuing the double down. It's pretty funny, right? Called out slacked and apathy, didn't go to plan, got clowned by the community. So if you want to get your lick back in the COD scene, just clown on BenJ and then some people will support you anyway. So Nero decided to do that. BenJ responded as well and said that he's been throwing around some terrible takes, but, whatever. People are going to tune into his stream more, I imagine, and see what the kid's got to say next, and maybe he's going to get back on a decent spot next year. Let's talk about Specialist though and BO7 because some big drama around this over the last couple of days. The rumour is that Specialists are back. Now, what Specialists are back? Is it going to be some of these guys? We're talking Spectre, we're talking Reaper, and then it was Battery, wasn't it, right, with the War Machine, and of course the Kinetic Armour. So, Reaper had the Scythe and had the Psychosis, and then of course we're talking, the Ripper was Spectre's lethal one, and then of course Active Camouflage, as we know. So, what are they going to bring back? There were talks about Vision Pulse. There was talks about potentially Ruin, if you remember that guy who had the gravity spikes and he had the fast run speed or whatever, overdrive it was called back in BO3. So there's all sorts of specialist abilities they could bring back. There were also a few in Infinite Warfare, which are pretty cool. They had the FTL jump, for example, or they had, Rewind was in that game, and it was also kind of similar in Black Ops 3, but it was called Glitch, of course, at the time. So loads of specialist abilities. To be honest, I miss those days, and I think that specialists make the game more interesting. Now, they were controversial, definitely, but the idea of teams having to think about, okay, this guy's got his Heatwave online, or he's got maybe Glitch ready to go in this 1 versus 1. It's an extra thing to think about. Maybe you know that the other player's got kinetic armor, they're about to pop it for this hill or something. Or obviously Crash in Black Ops 4 as another example to give the rest of the team an extra 50 health. There were ways that you could use that effectively and ways that, some teams would just be bad. Like their Crash player would bring up the iPad at a terrible time and the team would get their extra 50 health, but it wouldn't be very effective, whereas the other team would use it at a more appropriate time and it would be better. Also adds another element of things to consider. You're watching the game from home. It's like, okay, they might not be able to break this hill, but they've now got a specialist they can potentially use to do so. You've got War Machine, weaponry, Black Ops 4, we saw plenty of that just the other day. The Tempest, another good example. Dashy was talking about that as well, just throwing back some old clips really of how strong the Tempest was. Dashy was using this just the other day in the Legacy match that they played as well. So it's pretty controversial bringing specialists back. I do think it's a bit nuanced, I think, the perspective on it, whether it's going to be a good thing or a bad thing. But I will say that in general, this should be good for competitive COD. I think it's going to make it a more entertaining viewing experience anyway, as long as, of course, the players are on board. And this was one of the big debates of last night, with ZooMaa and Scrap and others getting into it over gentlemen's agreements. Now, if specialists are in the game, can the pros GA them? The answer is no. Now, they probably can't GA them entirely. What I mean is, they can probably GA individual specialists if they want to. But they're not going to be able to stop selecting them, as it were. If the CDL says, well, we are going to be using specialists, then they're going to be forced to pick a character and a specialist, which they're not just, they're not going to use it the whole map if it's sitting there ready to be used. Ruin's got his gravity spikes ready and you're just going to sit there and hold the GA and never use it. And then someone accidentally presses the 2 triggers at the same time, and then it's like, oh, my bad, guys, I accidentally got a 3-piece with the grav spikes. It's not going to happen, right? They're not probably going to be at a GA specialist if they are in the game. And I think that's a very exciting thing for us, but they could GA other things. There are things they can, gentlemen's agreements, such as the snipers, among others, and maybe certain specialists they decide to get rid of, right? Look, I don't know what you guys think about active camo as a specialist. In Black Ops 3, I think it was quite balanced. You could hear it, you could kind of see the thing as well. In Infinite Warfare, it was insanely invisible, and you just got no aim assist at all. It was impossible to kill the guy pretty much with camo on. Arguably, in hindsight, camo in Black Ops, in Infinite Warfare, could have been GA'd. And maybe that could have even been a decent idea. But again, it's a bit of a skill gap, right? Because camo was so overpowered in that game that you needed to get really good utility out of it every time you used it. And some players were just better at it than others. So that's something to think about. But I wanted to share a couple of clips because ZooMaa was calling out Scrap, among others, for talking about GAing the snipers and what that might mean. And ZooMaa had some pretty strong words on that. I'll also share this clip, which I thought was crazy. If you guys remember when Scrap said T replied to Ultra's CEO talking about the parking tickets. and he actually told the story about this, Scrap, as to how he parked in the CEO's spot. Someone warned him not to do it again. He did it again, and then he got fined, and then he's surprised that he got fined.
Bring the snipers back for 2026, brother. GAs are killing the fucking game. They're killing the games. They're killing it. They are fucking killing the fucking game. Brother, there is no way in hell if any pro votes to have the snipers out next year, I'm sorry, but they're brain dead. And I want to publicly expose, even if it's the FaZe guys, I don't give a fuck. FaZe guys, if you're listening, snipers are going in. We're putting snipers in. If any pros vote for the sniper to be out next year, brother, you're getting exposed and you're getting cooked. I don't give a fuck. You're getting fucking flamed, bro. And some pros might sit there and be like, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Yada, yada, yada. Brother, fuck you, motherfucker. Fuck you.
One way's out.
I mean, listen, no, one way is 100%.
They're just not listening. They just don't listen.
Wait. You want me to listen to this, Tony? You want me to listen to this? This voice message? Yes or no? You want me to listen to this on stream? Yep. All right, hold on. Tony's got a message for everybody.
User disconnected from your
Tommy,
channel.
what's happening, Habibi? Listen, I'm on Tony's phone right now. Can you just please relay the message that Ernie cannot kill me with the sniper? Thank you.
Go look at me in this game. Let's watch the K-Sod tournament when they were in. Let's watch the K-Sod tournament when they were in.
Hey, bro, that's comedy. No, that's fucking comedy. Wait, what do you want? What do you want?
The K-Sod tournament when everyone was sniping. Go watch it.
Oh yeah, can we actually go watch that?
Yeah. That? Because what do you mean parking tickets, bro?
I don't know if I'm allowed.
Why not?
You tweeted it.
All right, well, yeah, I guess I did.
What?
I don't know. I think I was parking in his spot, and I think he got upset with it. Next thing I know, I had a $70 ticket on my.
Wow.
It was his spot personally.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, you were
Like, I don't
parking in
give
the CEO spot.
Yeah, why did you park at a CEO spot?
What? Because I'm there 10 hours a day, every single day.
And he didn't say nothing to you? He didn't say like, yo, like don't park in my spot?
No, he didn't. Someone else said, like, yo, you shouldn't be parking here. And I said, I work here every day, more than anyone here.
Oh, then it's your fault. If you got warned and you still park there like an asshole, that's your fault.
My fault getting fined by my own org. Yep. for parking, trying to work. Yep. It's my fault.
Hey, bro, you're an idiot.
I bet you Nate.
I do find this CEO story kind of remarkable, right? Like, what did Scrap think was going to happen? Like, at the end of the day, yeah, the CEO doesn't own the company precisely. It's not like he owns the building or whatever, but the CEO chooses who he has working underneath him in the organization. And if you are in his building and he's paying you a salary to play for his team in the building that he runs and operates, then obviously this isn't going to fly, right? Like, I mean, who do you think you are? I don't know. Also, you've got to, if you're a CEO, you've also got to instill that hierarchical structure, right? So that the player doesn't, I don't know what you want to say, get too big for their own boots or something. But the idea of Scrap just rocking up to the CEO's parking spot and then doing it again, I guess in Scrap's head, he thought it was going to be justified. But like, it was always going to end in that way, right? Like, I don't know why this should be a big surprise, to be honest, that the CEO was like, well, you literally parked in my spot again and I got someone to tell you not to do it, so yeah, you're gonna get a parking ticket, right? I feel like that's just inevitable, but I don't know, Scrap clearly sees it a different way. I thought it was pretty funny, and well, this is pretty funny as well, so I had to put it on the thumbnail. But that's the talk about snipers, snaking, these other things that might get gentlemen's agreemented. We'll see what they decide to do when it comes to snipers. Obviously, Big Brucey was on the phone as well, saying that Scrap wants it out because he can't gun him, right? And Dashy's been in favour for some time of bringing snipers back into competitive play. Others have been less in favour, even surprisingly enough, given the fact that Simp and Dashy went pretty head-to-head back in Black Ops 4 with the sniper in hand, OpTic versus United. Dashy's been in favour of it coming back, and Simp has not been, right? He's in favour of it not coming back in. Now, I will say, probably part of that from Simp's perspective is that they had this guy in the bomb role, right? Like, they had this guy running the sensor role, getting the rock down. So obviously, Simp's not going to be sniping if it's allowed, because he's the one who's got to plant the objective, right? So maybe if Simp's role is going to be different and 04 is going to do a lot of the dirty work, then Simp might be more in favour of bringing it back. But yeah, definitely intrigued to your thoughts on all of that stuff in the comment section below. So hit the like button if you enjoyed. I will just play this game real quick. Stop the scroll. Whoever you stop on is the player that you're building around. So here we go. 3, 2, 1, bang. It's Big Wake, baby. We'll see if he actually gets back in the league first. Then we can talk about building around him. But very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care. And I'll see you next time.